Hey guys, welcome to our Sony E3 conference reaction. I'm one of your hosts, Scotty Kunavong, joined by Jared Joy
How's it going?
and Nick Malazzo.
What's up, everyone?
So we just got back from Williamsville, New York, where we went to a movie theater to go see the Sony E3 experience. That's just where they rent out a movie theater for us, and they show the conference on a big screen, which is really awesome. We've been going for the past couple of years now. What'd you guys think?
Besides some of the sound issues in the theater we had in the beginning, I think it was pretty sweet. It's always a cool experience to be able to go there with a bunch of people that love video games and see everyone react to all the different announcements. So it was another good year in that aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought amazing. Just bringing the community together and everyone can experience, the new games or whatever's coming out and see the reactions from everyone was pretty cool.
Definitely. And before they even started the conference, they showed a couple games. And let's see. The first game that stuck out, Lawbreakers.
Yeah, I'd heard of the game before, I believe, but I didn't really know anything about it. And it wasn't until after the conference that I realized that this was the game that Cliff Bleszinski has been helping make and work on. For those of
Really?
you that don't know, he was the creator of Gears of War, so that's pretty cool. It seemed like it was some sort of online, multiplayer shooter with different characters that different, kind of not necessarily Overwatch, but like
Yeah, I was about to say I got the Overwatch vibe from it, but it's still just from the trailer, just seems completely different.
yeah.
Which could be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
They're doing a follow up for one of their PS4 release games, Knack, getting a Knack 2.
Yeah. You see, I remember the PS4 launch with Knack. I never played it though. I think
Somebody did.
Yeah.
I played it. Playing it was fun, and then it just started to drag, so I really just wanted to get through this game. It was fun. Just the reaction from everyone in the theater, going back to that. There was a couple people that were pretty excited for it. And for the game to launch at $40, I think a lot of people are going to get back into it. It is going to be launching also. They get a release date for September 5th. So I feel like if you haven't played the first Knack, go ahead, jump into this one, because I think the first Knack's like $20 now or something like that.
Probably find it even cheaper used.
Yeah, seriously.
It's just a slower game. It takes time to get into it, but the story's witty. You know what I mean? It's pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah, and there's a game that I'm personally excited for, Undertale, coming to PS4 and the Vita. I played Undertale on the PC. I thought it was really good. It has a really nice charm to it. It's basically an RPG, and you just go around this weird world talking to all these monsters. And I don't want to get too much into it, just because I feel like it's a game that everyone should experience. But it has like a multitude of different endings, and just playing the game, it just hits so many different levels.
Have to check that out.
Yeah, and I also like how they're reviving the Vita back. They're bringing it back.
Well, they still launch games for Vita every now and then. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the only call out for Vita though in the show.
yeah.
But so one thing that I think they could have definitely put in the main conference and didn't was something they're calling PlayLink, which seems like is something they're working on to utilize smart devices, phones, tablets, whatever, to be able to, play the game kind of like the, Jackbox packs, party packs. I mean, we all love those kind of games. They're great party games and they're fun. Which they're coming out with a game called That's You, which is actually going to be free for PlayStation Plus members for a limited time starting July 5th.
Yeah.
And that seems like that's kind of along the lines of those other games that have utilized this kind of, this kind of gameplay before.
Yeah, it just seems that Sony's trying to dip into that market that Jackbox has right now that's basically untouched by anyone else, where you just get a room full of people, everyone's on their smart device, and you're just playing a game together. And I'm surprised it took so long for someone else to just come and tap into that. The game, That's You, looks exactly like something that would be in a Jackbox party.
Yeah.
pack.
And the other big one that they announced from the makers of Until Dawn is called Hidden Agenda, which is what they led off with when they were showing this play link, and that looks phenomenal.
Oh, it looks so good. It looks super good. I'm excited to see what comes out of that.
Yeah, for those of you that played Until Dawn or kind of watched gameplay, it seems like very similar where you make the decisions, your decisions determine, if people live, if people die, where the story progresses. The only thing that's different is that, if you're playing with friends, everyone can kind of decide on their phones which path to take and kind of vote on which decision to make, and that's what happens.
Yeah, which is really cool. So each person has their character that they interact with, and then based on how they what they choose and based on what you choose, it can be totally different outcomes.
Oh, is that so? Each person's a different character. Is that what they're saying?
Yep,
oh,
they get
okay.
assigned. They get assigned a character randomly.
I thought they were saying that everyone was like voting on what to do. Okay, that makes more sense. I think that's cooler.
Yeah. So just like it's just one of those games where you can just get a multitude of different endings, or just like one of those just different occurrences. Like, oh, this person decided to go through this door instead of going downstairs, and then you just got choked out by some robber. I don't know.
Yeah. Just the way the story looks, it looks pretty eerie and creepy. It's almost like a guy that was in prison for murder, and he's setting traps around, and you make those decisions. Seems pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to try out the PlayLink. It's gonna be coming out July 5th. That's You, and it's gonna be free on PlayStation Plus for a limited time.
Yep. They made some quick references to Gran Turismo Sport, which is coming out this fall. I think we've seen enough. We know what Gran Turismo is. I don't think we need to really dive into that. For those of you that are
pretty much.
For those of you that are big into, driving simulators, PlayStation hasn't really had one in a long time. So
Really long time.
yeah, so I'm sure for that audience they'll be happy with that. But the last part of the pre-show that I was super hyped about was Ni no Kuni 2.
Yeah. Everyone that I know that's played Ni no Kuni has loved it. It's one of those games I've been meaning to get into just because it just seems like my cup of tea. I love RPGs, and it has that Pokemon aspect to it, and it's just like I want to do it, but I know it's just like one of those 80-hour time sinks.
Yeah, I remember I put about 20 hours into it, and I know I was nowhere close to finishing it, and I ended up just kind of falling off, but not because of anything with the game. Like the gameplay was great. The the graphics, which are worked with Studio Ghibli, right?
Yeah.
To do all the art and everything. That looks amazing. The story was really cool. So I'm interested to see where they're gonna go with the second one, and I'm sure it'll be great either way. The release date for that is November 10th.
All right, so that was just the pre-show. Once we actually got into the conference, they started playing trailers, and the sound in the theater, there was none. So we checked online. Apparently, Sony's broadcast just wasn't giving out audio.
Yes.
But luckily, once we got two and a half trailers in, they finally fixed the problem. It was just really funny. What was it? Was it Uncharted?
Days Gone. It started with Uncharted, but
It with Uncharted.
Yeah.
We didn't get to hear any of that trailer. We saw it. It looks like an Uncharted game without Nathan Drake. It looks good.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure it'll be fun. It's not I don't think it's a fully priced game. I think it's 40, right?
$40.
Yep, $40.
Yeah. So, it seems like it's going to be a pretty lengthy story for a $40 game. So I think it'll be worth it for any Uncharted fans or people that like that kind of game. So that's cool. And then
the next one was.
You've been playing Horizon, right?
I've played about 10 to 12 hours of it. And I saw they announced DLC for it today. It made me want to get back into that world and play again because the DLC looked pretty cool.
Yeah, it's called the Frozen Wilds DLC.
Yeah, and I don't think that one had a release date.
No.
It'd probably be this year though.
I think
Probably
I
towards
think
the
it
end of this
said
year.
I think it said this year.
Did it?
Hmm.
Yeah. So more of that game is welcome always.
Oh yeah. Mhm. And then when we get to Days Gone, that's where the community helps us out with no audio. So it's the beginning of the trailer, and then you just see the main character get on a motorcycle, and everyone in the theater is starting to make motorcycle sounds. They're trying to make the sounds for the actual trailer just to fill
Yeah.
the noise.
They were doing the audio for us. It was
Yeah.
very nice of them.
Yes. And with Days Gone, it just looks phenomenal. I cannot wait for this.
I can't wait for the zombie bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep saying to myself like I don't want more zombie games, and then Sony shows me this, and I'm like, this looks so good.
Yeah, it just looks really good. Like
Yeah, just what he did when he just. There's a part in the game where he's got to go save his buddy, and in the trailer at least, and there's a bunch of zombies outside this wall. So instead of there's all these guards, so he decides to blow that wall, and then all of a sudden, about 30 to 40 zombies just rush and then flank everyone, and he goes up and saves his buddy, and then we get into what Scotty was saying with the what was it, a zombie robot something bear?
it looked like a zombie bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out that trailer if you guys. It gave me the same sort of feeling the trailer did last year for the same game. Like just like you see these huge hordes of these mutated zombie type things, coming at you, and it's pretty intense. So
Yeah, and just like I haven't played a zombie game in a really long time, but I don't remember there ever being like I remember there being hordes, like could be like within like 10 to 20 of them, but this looks like 40 or 50 coming at you at a time.
Yeah.
And like they're coming at huge numbers, which is like really heart pounding. It's just like, ooh.
So let's get into a little bit of VR real quick. They let off their VR with Skyrim VR, which I'm just like, let it die.
Yeah.
Let it die.
It's like I don't know how many more times I need to play Skyrim. I played it on my PS3. I've played it on my PC countless hours. I didn't play the remaster on PS4 because I got it. I got that remaster for free on PC because I bought it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's cool about it is that it seems like Bethesda's really in on VR,
Oh yeah.
which is cool. Like, I'm glad that like there's a company that's like, wants to make full VR experience games. So that's cool, but like, let it die.
Yeah, just give us a different type of Skyrim, or not a different type of Skyrim. Sorry, different type of Elder Scrolls. Enough Skyrim.
Yes.
Stop it.
Yes.
Yeah, and then after that, they just kind of went on a montage of different VR games. Super Hot VR, which was already out on PC, but something that I want to play Super Hot in general. Super Hot VR looks really cool. And then a couple other new games that were announced. The Impatient, which looked like some sort of like horror, thriller experience.
Yeah, which I know I would probably play like the first 5 minutes, get spooked once, take the headset right off.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, I think that's the kind of game that works so well in VR. But you're right, it can be terrifying, and I still want to play Resident Evil 7 in VR.
I don't know how people do it because I know it's a way better experience playing that game in VR. I was having trouble playing it on my TV. Like you were in your bedroom, I was out here. I'm just like, nope.
Can't do it. I know the one that you're super excited about, Scotty. Monster of the Deep.
Oh yeah,
Final Fantasy
'Cause-
VR fishing.
I loved fishing in Final Fantasy.
I just
Loved it.
Got level 10, right?
Oh yeah, I had to do it for the platinum.
And then another shooter called Bravo Team, and yeah, that was about it for VR. So I was kind of expecting them to do to do like a bigger title in VR or put more of a focus. Like, I'm kind of glad they didn't, because like it only appeals to such a small audience at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't like spend a ton of time on it, but I kind of expected them to spend a little bit more time, but I'm not going to complain, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think we'll really see a big game for VR in, I would say, at least another year or so, because it did just come out within the past 8 months,
yeah.
so it's still in its baby phase. We'll get something eventually.
Yeah. So the one cool I was waiting for it the entire E3. When am I gonna get and it's available now? I was waiting for it, and the closest thing we got, I think, was they showed the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite trailer, new trailer, which was pretty cool, talking about the story mode in it, and right at the end they said story demo available now.
Yeah, which I'm excited. I'm gonna download right after we're done with this.
Yep. Yeah. I liked at the end of that trailer. You should watch it. They show Dante. No, not Dante. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank now. Devil May Cry.
Well, yeah, they showed Dante.
Oh, okay. His name is Dante.
At the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Rocket was like, "Hey, can I borrow the ladies?" And he's like, "Sure." So then he tosses Ebony and Ivory to Rocket, and he's like, "Sweet," you know what I mean? Like, that was cool. So, but yeah,
they had some new character reveals too in the trailer of ones that hadn't been announced.
Yeah.
Was Thanos already announced? I don't think he was.
Thanos was in the old game. I don't think he was in 3 though. I could be wrong.
Seems like he's going to play a big part in the story, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story seems super interesting, and I'm really excited to play that, like, just for the story.
Yeah, and even the people, like, even if you don't read the comic books for Marvel, like, if you're kind of up to date on the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now, you're going to have a decent understanding of what's going on, because it seems like it's relating to that quite a bit, so.
Yeah.
What was your biggest takeaway, Milazzo?
Well, if we're gonna get into this, me and Scotty are sitting there, and we see what looks like to be a game that we talked about on a previous cast, but was coming for the Switch, and that would be Monster Hunter Double Cross. So we're sitting there, and we're like, man, this looks like a Monster Hunter game.
And I'm just thinking to myself, no, there's no way that Nintendo let Monster Hunter go to other platforms.
Yes.
Like there's no way. And the trailer keeps going on, and I'm just like, oh, nope, it just can't be it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, the armor looks like Monster Hunter, the weapon looks like Monster Hunter, the monsters are starting to look a lot like Monster Hunter. But I'm not gonna get myself excited. Why would I do that?
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because, me and Scotty were hype about it. That's actually the first time I met Scotty was like forever ago, and he had Monster Hunter PSP, and I'd always be like, let me play your PSP, and it was always Monster Hunter. So, that's just something cool because, I was going to get it on the Switch, but I might just end up getting it on my PlayStation now.
Or Xbox.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is.
Yep. It's going to be for Xbox and PS4.
Which is crazy.
Which I wanted this game to be on the Switch, not a port of a Japanese handheld game on the Switch.
Now watch Nintendo's. Remember when Nintendo stock went up when they announced the Double Cross? Now it's just gonna go back down.
Yeah, seriously. Like I know that it's still gonna cater to that specific type of audience because Monster Hunter has always been a portable game, and they're finally bringing it back to consoles. I know that. Was it the Wii U had Monster Hunter?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Monster Hunter 4.
Yeah. And I think just from the way it looks, I think it's going to do good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Monster Hunter has really, really made its place in the Western market.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of Monster Hunter. I did play one of them on the 3DS with you. I couldn't get super into it though, but like I understand the the importance of that and the huge,
And it's one of those games like where it's important that you play with your friends. Like playing it by myself, I definitely don't get the same feeling when I play with other people. Like it just doesn't resonate as well.
It definitely looks like a game that will be extremely fun to play with other people. So.
Yeah, and then and right after that bombshell, they dropped another one with a Shadow of the Colossus remake, I would call it. Not a remaster, a remake.
Yeah, a remake, which I don't know how they kept that under wraps. That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, they remastered it on PS3, the original one. But yeah, it looks like they've completely redone this from the ground up, and it looked incredible.
Yeah, it looked phenomenal. I am so excited for this game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it wasn't. We didn't even think of that for our predictions. If you guys watched our prediction earlier, but yeah,
I didn't really hear that from anybody, from any of the, people I listened to, or I didn't really know. I don't think anyone really saw that coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well,
straight out of left field.
Yeah, maybe like if they're thinking like a sequel, a prequel, or like something, but like I don't think especially like just a complete remake is interesting. And yeah, I mean at that point for me is kind of going into the rest of the conference is a little is very very predictable and a little disappointing.
So the beginning of the conference started off strong because we got Monster Hunter, we started with the Shadow Colossus. Then once we started getting to the middle, that's when we started getting more of that filler stuff, the VR, some of the smaller titles. Then it picked back up once we got to God of War.
Oh my gosh, God of War! If only it was a game that was coming out this year. Me and Jared were really hoping it was going to be a game this year, but I completely understand they want to do. Was it early 2018 or was it just 2018?
It was early 2018.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But just watching that gameplay was like, wow, you can do a lot. I mean, it looks brutal. It didn't lose what it had, pretty much.
Yeah, when they showed the first trailer last year, it didn't necessarily look like the same sort of game that the old God of Wars were. This trailer makes it, it shows more of the combat and it looks more like a God of War game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it looks great. It looks the combat looks fun still. It looks entertaining. Some of those finishers were brutal, and I'm really excited for it. I just really disappointed that they couldn't get it out this year.
Yeah, that's the name of the game for the whole E3, really. It's just like everyone's having these conferences, all these games that look great are either going to be next year or to be announced. And that's especially with Sony for this one. Everything was 2018. I was just like, give me something what do we have to look forward to at the end of this year?
Yeah, and then that's what's kind of frustrating to me is like all these. I think some people are starting to be better at it. Bethesda, the last couple years have been great about not, showing us games that are 3 years out. And everyone like at the Sony conference, same thing is like, oh, where's The Last of Us? Where's Kingdom Hearts? Where's Final Fantasy VII remake? Like,
we're not even gonna get into that.
We're years down the line. It's what's frustrating. Like they showed us Last of Us 2 last year, and then, they're like, oh, yep, you'll have it in 3 more years. Like, why are you showing us? Like, I don't even get why they do stuff like that. And there's a balance. Like, I'm kind of upset with Xbox and Sony on 2 different, for 2 opposite reasons. Whereas Xbox showed a lot of stuff that's coming out this year, but none of it was very good. It made me excited. Whereas Sony showed me some cool stuff that I'm excited for, but nothing is coming out this year.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's just like as a gamer in any market, really, it's just a big. This E3's just been kind of a letdown, really. But that's been the only one. Just like, hey, we got these 2 cool games coming out this year. It's like, okay, sweet, thanks. Thank you for being the only one.
Yeah.
That matters to us.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, the Sony conference had a lot of positives, and like you were saying with the negatives, I liked how Sony was like, oh, here's a game. Let's talk for a little bit more. Game.
Yeah, when it comes to the actual conference itself, I believe Sony has it down, where it's very minimal with actually having a presenter out there, and it's just gameplay in trailers, which is really nice. I know even some of the other conferences, they've started to learn to cut that fluff out and just give us what we really want.
Yeah, we saw some huge issues this year with presenters and messing up and bringing people on stage that really shouldn't be up there.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's just people don't care. Like, they just want to see the games. Mm-hmm. They just want to see what you have. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. speaking of seeing what they have, Detroit Become Human. We saw another cinematic trailer for that.
Yeah, and I've been excited for that for a while. They announced it a while ago, but like
It's
super
been
low
a
key.
while.
It's never. I don't think it was ever shown at E3. I don't think they showed it last year.
Wasn't it the one last year when they were on the roof and he was talking to this one guy who's contemplating?
Yes,
Yeah.
yep, that was last year.
They
Yep.
did show
Yeah,
it at
last
E3.
year,
Yep.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this is 2 years. They've shown it again. Still no release date. No idea when it's coming. It looks like a great game. Like it looks like a very story-driven, compelling.
Yeah.
Something that's interesting and, obviously this kind of situation has been told before in media through movies and stuff like that. But obviously interacting with the game and making those decisions. Another decision-based game. It's always interesting to get the different endings and see how they go.
Yeah, I'm personally excited for it. I'm not excited to wait 3 years to get it.
I feel like we've all been waiting long enough for other games.
Yeah, if that doesn't come out like end of 2018, I'm just like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Wrapping it up.
Well, to wrap it off, cherry on top, they finally showed us Spider-Man. They showed us gameplay, and oh my gosh.
I am very happy with the trailer they showed. I knew once Insomniac had their hands on that game, it was going to be really good. And they didn't show me a reason to doubt them.
Oh yeah, it just reminded me of playing Spider-Man 3 on the PS2. Like the fighting mechanics were almost identical. It's going to be sweet to be Spider-Man again and swing through the city.
Yeah, a lot of environmental interaction during combat, and it looks like they took some inspiration a little bit from the Arkham series, which isn't a bad thing at all. It looked like the combat though was much more fluid and fun than Arkham, which is just beat 'em up constantly kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of exactly what I expected, and that's good because I had high expectations for it, and and it looks like Insomniac's going to deliver on that. The only problem is they're going to be delivering on that in 2018 and not 2017.
Yeah, so there was an article on Kotaku earlier in the year where they said that I believe it was an insider from Insomniac saying that the game was going to be out in 2017.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was wrong.
Yeah, if only.
Yeah, that would have been that would have made it for me if they were like holiday 2017. I'd have been like, yes, this is the game I've been waiting for to end my year.
Yeah, that's what Sony needed.
Yeah, that would have been great. That would have sold the conference for me. But again, it's just one of those things where it's, hey, 2018, you gotta wait more. But for Spider-Man, I can wait. Yeah, that trailer really, really blew me away. The environment, highly interactive, because when you saw when he was in the middle of fighting, you can see the cursor was moving in front of a pile of bricks that you can interact with right there. Just oh, that's really cool.
And all the QuickTime events, those look really fun. There was a point in the trailer where a helicopter was falling and you had to smash L2 and R2 to shoot webs really fast. It looked really fun. And there was a hidden gem at the end if you stuck around and watched the end of that trailer.
Yeah, if you stuck around to the end of the conference, there was a cool little Easter egg or kind of interesting tidbit about the game, what's going to be in it. So
Yeah.
So other than that, Spider-Man looked great. Wish I can have it now, but we'll see when it comes out next year.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching Quick Reload Gaming reacts to Sony's E3 press conference 2017. Make sure you guys let us know what games you saw that you can't wait for.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.
See you later.
See ya.